Did you get any fun things? Did your mom get a new black Santa?
No, it's not even about the presents. It's just about the family interaction, because there's family that are on the fringes that come in once every holiday, and then we don't see them again, so then we talk about them. So it's fun.
Talk about it. I mean, every family has got those people that you see maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Not everybody talks shrimp about them.
Because I'm just like,
parents.
You show up, and then I'm like, sweet, you get your champagne in one hand, and you bring whatever you're bringing to the event, and then you're like, is so-and-so coming? And you're like, yep, they're on the way. Like, damn it, I wouldn't have came had I known he was coming.
Champagne, wow, this family.
Bougie.
They really do it
We
up.
had mimosas, we had wine coolers, we got everything you need to get drunk.
We did too, but still.
It's a Brown family gathering.
Mimosas. Okay, on the subject of, because a few people have asked for some clarification, on the subject of Mary's family.
Ready.
How when you guys all get together, you're talking about this earlier, there's always devolves into some kind of verbal scrum.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are asking, because you're kind of the outlier as insofar as how everybody kind of thinks, would that still happen if you weren't there?
No.
So the fights are because you're there.
Or because I speak up.
Yeah.
I'm the only,
and they don't cotton to that in the Santora clan.
No, I mean, my younger sister.
They're not feminists.
My younger sister's, she's probably second most liberal to me, but would rather just not talk about it. If something comes up, she's not going to be as apt to.
She'll let it go.
She'll let it go. She'll be like, whatever,
right.
just being who they are.
Right. There's no upside to this.
Where I will not. And I will say, well, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's
now,
the way
why
you should
is
think.
that?
Because I love them.
Because I don't talk about that stuff when I see my family. And obviously, I'm not short on opinions, but I'm kind of like...
But does your family bring it up?
Oh, sure.
If your family brings things up, you don't say, hey, here's the other side of it?
No. Because they know the other side.
But do they?
Yes. Everybody knows the other side. It's just a lot of people are willfully psychotic.
Maybe.
And so they're like, oh, I don't care about what's going on with other people. And so knowing that, I go, no.
Until I had to get a cancer screening done at a Planned Parenthood, my brother did not know that they did anything other than abortions.
Right.
He wholeheartedly did not know that women went to Planned Parenthood to get medical procedures done.
But does he care about that?
Well, when he saw that it was his sister, and I said, hey man, this procedure that I have to get done without insurance, if I were to go to a hospital, this is a $4,000 procedure. I can get it done for $900 at a Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, but how much does it cost for men?
Exactly. Men get cancer for free. No,
that's right.
But so until we had that conversation, he had no idea that those were services that they offered, birth control and family planning and cancer screenings. And so I find it important to say, hey, there's a whole other side of this with human beings like me that you don't think about.
That is, that's different. I get that because he didn't know.
But I don't know what they don't know. If you think that all Planned Parenthood does is 700,000 abortions every day.
But if you were to tell him that and he goes,
those are rookie numbers, you got to pump those up.
If you were to tell him that and he goes, yeah, I know. Would you keep going? Would you keep drilling? Or would you be like...
I want to understand where they're coming from. These aren't really fights so much as they are discussions.
Because it's kind of cliche now to say that a lot of people don't care about things until it affects either them or someone they love, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gets a gold star from me for coming around to that because everybody... What's lacking is people being concerned for people they're not related to.
Right.
Or don't love. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. That's the hurdle. Everybody's got somebody they go, I never really thought about it until my sister got sick.
Right.
Yeah, nadoy. That's how everybody is, unless you hate your family, but I think that's kind of few and far between.
So, I mean...
So you kind of got him hip to,
Well, I told him, I said, hey, man, this is all I wouldn't be able to get this procedure done. And if I go without it, it could develop into cervical cancer. And then that's what, you die from that.
And because the wives don't speak up, they're not going to give them that information.
I don't know how much information they have on it.
Huh.
They are, the specific brother I'm talking about is the Fox News MAGA brother.
Well, plus your siblings are all... Very fertile. No, very fertile.
Yes.
Like they're just squeezing out cabbages left and right. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am the one who usually opposes Man, now you guys make me feel like I start all the fights. But
No,
it's
no,
like,
no, not at all.
People are asking. You said it yourself that you're kind of the outlier in how your family perceives the world.
Yeah.
So people were like, if Mary wasn't there, would these fights still happen? And you said no.
No, they'd probably just laugh about them and be like, haha, women should be in the kitchen. Am I right? Go make me a sandwich or whatever. But
Maybe they're trying to say that women are better cooks.
Maybe
that's all they're trying to say.
It's pretty funny, too.
My when they were in town for my dad's celebration of life in June, the one thing that came, it's usually like one discussion like this per event. The one that came up was that my brother said that if someone defaults on a loan, like a house payment, or doesn't pay their rent or gets evicted, that they should never be allowed to rent again. That person should never be allowed to own a house. That's what he said.
Well, and his thought for that was why?
Because people need responsibility. Because it came because they kept pushing back the date of when people had to pay rent again and things like that in 2021 when they had.
So he's on the side of like investment bankers and venture capitalists.
Well, yeah, that's what he does.
Right.
He's he buys and flips houses and sells them.
Right.
So
it's in his best interest for people. Yeah. Now I understand that.
That there's no accountability, and if we keep pushing back and letting people go months and months without paying their bills, they're never going to want to pay them again.
But what point do you go, like, so people that mess up one time and go, you're done. You can't ever own a house again. You can't ever rent a place again.
And
like,
he says, don't let it happen.
What's his solution?
There is no solution.
But
the solution is that if there's enough fear in people, if they mess up, they know they'll never be able to own a house, that they won't mess up.
That is not how it works.
Well, that's his mentality.
Because people there's a myriad of reasons why people are in a situation where they can't pay their bills, and that's sometimes completely out of their control.
Well, and that's what I explained to him. I said, okay, so let's look at your sister.
This is the Christian.
They're all Christians.
I know, but I mean, just saying, like,
Old Testament versus New. He's Old Testament.
But Christians are New Testament.
But here's the thing.
That's when Christ showed up.
Right, but some people like the old ass kicking. It's all made, whatever.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
The business that your brother is in, the trouble with that is, all those people are all mixed together. So you have people who have had a really tough time trying to get on there, mixed in with people who are
taking advantage.
So this is what I said. That's right.
Because this was all because of COVID.
And so it's much simpler to go, screw them all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So until I said to him, I said, look at your sister and your brother-in-law. Both of them work in the restaurant industry. Both of them were out of work for 2 full months while things were locked down. Their restaurants weren't open. So if they didn't have a savings because we live paycheck to paycheck and they default on a loan, that means that they're horrible people who should never be able to own a house again.
So your brother never worked in the service industry or anything like that?
But he says, make it happen. So then when I said it as, this is your sister, your brother-in-law, look at your nieces that would never be allowed to live in a home or would have to jump through all these hoops at 40% interest or whatever it is. That's what you want for your sister because something happened that's out of her control. And he was like, he kind of got pissy and was like, all right, so then where's the middle ground? I'm like, I'm not saying I have a middle ground. I'm saying what tends to be is that you guys care about enforcing rules and punishments and money, and that will teach people to be better people and more responsible, and you don't really care about what's going on behind the scenes.
It's just bootstrap propaganda is essentially what it is.
It's trash.
But my question is, how did these conversations start?
I don't ever know. I'm not even kidding.
Because you know where they end. They end with everybody being pissed at everybody else, but you never know where they start. Like when I see my parents a couple of times a year, if I'm lucky, there's always little comments being made, and I don't.
And you let them go.
Yes.
See, I don't let them go.
Because they're in their 70s.
That's
I'm not
different.
changing anybody's mind. But you're not changing
you're not
your
changing their
siblings'
minds.
That's my point. They're not 17. They're grown-ass people.
But my mind has changed all the time. I didn't start becoming
because
liberal.
you're wishy-washy liberal.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Goddamn snowflakes.
I didn't start becoming liberal until I started stand-up. It's in the last 10 years when I was meeting people and seeing, actually venturing out.
You were traveling places.
Yes.
Well,
and my beliefs were constantly questioned.
That's what happens to everyone who goes out and leaves. When everybody hangs out in Berea, that doesn't happen.
Well, and that's why I kind of bring it to them, because I'm like, I know that I didn't think about this scenario until I was 28. Maybe you've never
Santora
thought
family,
of it.
I bring you dispatches from the front. Word from outside. And then there's some people who, they're like, I've lived in a lot of places. I don't care.
Yeah.
They dig in their heels on that,
Yeah.
Well,
that's why I'm kind of quiet, because I'm like, I love my family.
And it's not about changing their minds, and then it's maybe they'll tell me something that helps me see it from their side a little bit more. Where I'm like, okay, I get where you're coming from.
Well, my dad is very anti-government, and when he talks about it from his work point of view and how a lot of people will just break the laws and they'll hire illegal immigrants and stuff like that, that's all stuff I completely agree with him on. But then when he gets into other situations, I'm like, what are you talking
But those are but those things are already illegal.
Right. But he's
so
saying
I understand
that
they're
it makes
breaking
it
the
tough
law
for him because there's people that are undercutting him because they're breaking the law and he's following the law.
Right.
And so it just makes it more difficult for him. So like that stuff I completely understand. But then when he starts talking about, the vaccines using to control your mind, all this stuff, like I'm like, now you're being stupid.
Now you're off on another
You're being
thing.
a stupid person right now.
But it's
you're
because
not a stupid person.
But it's because all those things got mixed together over time, where you have people who are otherwise perhaps relatively rational, and they go, "Well, this is in here too."
Yeah.
Well, and you also have the fact that,
And that's by definition people who kind of traffic in all that misinformation. They go, "Look, if you just drab in bits of complete bullcrap into other things that are true, then you don't know where one ends and the other one begins, and that's how you get a huge wave of people going, yes, Bill Gates is putting 5G in my,
Right.
yeah.
and climate change is fake. And one thing with me, as far as my beliefs go, I never really knew what a Republican and what a liberal believed. I just knew that they were the parties, and I had no idea I'm talking like when I'm a teenager.
Yeah.
When I'm 18 years old, I'm going to vote for the first time, and I had no idea. And then when I started paying attention, and I was like, well, the values that I've been taught as a Christian, as a Mormon, really go against a lot of the things that I'm supposed to believe as a conservative Republican, and it just really messed with my mind. Whereas, like, okay, we're supposed to help people be Christ-like, love people, and care for them, but then you have to check all these boxes to get those actual benefits. Like so that's when I started my questioning, and that's what made me move away from it, was because I just thought it was very hypocritical.
Yeah.
I took a phone survey this morning, which I'm usually not prone to do because,
Why would I?
It's 2022.
why would I? But anyway, but I was on hold for a minute, and I had to talk to a person because I was just going around any other way. So I was on hold, and I'm talking to a person. I finally get this person, and she did a fine job, right? So they go, hey, there's a quick phone survey after this if you want to hang on. And they just got me at the right time. And I go, okay, sure.
I'll hang
right?
on.
Yeah. I'm trying to be part of the solution, right? Positive feedback, whatever. But one of the questions was, and there were only 3. It didn't take much time out of my day. But one of the questions was, from 1 to 5, 1 being lowest, 1 being very dissatisfied, 5 being, this was amazing, right? One of the questions was, from 1 to 5, rate the degree to which the agent you spoke with cared about you as a person. Now, I know what they're getting at there. They're like, hey, were they nice? Were they...
Right.
But they need to... You'd want to ask them that.
Right.
Not me.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think that was she at a 5 level of caring about you as a person? I'm like, she didn't even know me. She's at the
she
call
forgot
center.
my name.
She's at the call center.
But in
she
that
didn't even
situation,
she didn't even know my birthday.
Did she?
Yeah.
She forgot. But
Asking me for my birthday,
did they get
double-digit
everything
month.
done?
Huh?
Did they get everything done that you needed?
I gave her all 5s.
Yeah.
Of course, gave her all 5s. I'm not going to hang on, do the survey, and give her 1s.
Yeah,
she was just fine. But what a weird... To what degree do you think that this person cared about you as a person? I was
funny.
like, I don't know. You're going to need to you need to borrow Poundcake's thesaurus. You need to get a few more nouns and work those in there elsewhere. Because I don't know. So now I want to really find out who she is and call her back and go, hey,
Did you care?
how much did you care about me as a person?
Yeah.
Because I bet she'd give it a 1. I gave her a 5.
No, I'm sure she's going to give it a 5.
Who is this?
'cause she
I'm
won.
sorry, what?
I bet she'd give herself a 1.
I wonder the amount of people that hit on these people.
I don't know, but I know they go through...
0%.
No, I disagree with that. I know there's people that will always just... I mean, it's such a tough job.
Your voice is so hot.
To the point where I was doing an online chat with some customer support, and they were just so over the moon that I was so kind and patient.
Yeah.
Because
It's very rare.
it's just you're going through the situation, and it's like the kinder I am, I feel like the more helpful they are.
100%.
And so I was just very, and they handled the whole situation like almost immediately.
And people have this notion, they kind of flip it around. People have this notion on the customer side that all the people on the phone, like they just hire awful people. It's like, no, they're talking to us all day long. and the people they talk to are screaming at them, or and they're like, "Dude, I'm just answering."
Right, and so they're just like, "Thank you so much. You were so kind through this whole chat." And I was like, why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. I had that.
I said, from 1 to 5, how would you rate me as a customer?
How kind am I as a human?
Did it sound like I cared about you as a person?
My mom is.
Rest assured, I do not. But did it sound like I did?
He's been working on his empathy.
I really,
Very
really
good at it.
have.
What would you rate his tone?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I promise you, I think my mom has gotten multiple people raises at like AT&T, like because whenever she has a problem, which is often.
Yeah, you know how they love giving people raises at the call center.
I'm just saying raises or promotions because she messes up often. She'll download something she's not supposed to download, or she don't know how to work anything. And my brother's tired of dealing with her. I'm in Cleveland, so I'm not driving all the way home to fix her phone. So she'll call, and then she'll be on phone
Fished by monkeys
for like 45. She'll be on the phone.
I gifted the wrong monkey. How do I get around this?
She'll be on the phone for like 45 minutes, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you were so wonderful. Let me speak to your supervisor." And she'll talk to the person on this person's supervisor. You're like, Dominic was so helpful. Oh, he was so lovely to me. And you're like,
and they don't care either. That's why these surveys are automated. You're not doing them any favors. They're like, yeah, great, okay, cool, thanks, Dominic.
Right.
It's like the old joke about working in retail. Like, let me talk to my manager,
and then you hand the phone to another
to your friend.
associate.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, you're the manager. Hey, what's up? Oh, you like the soup? Cool, thanks.
I had a massage canceled last week because
I just booked one. I'm so happy.
Did you do the thing where you signed up for your debit card where it comes out monthly?
No.
Oh, you just booked one.
I want to see if they're any good first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had my girl had to go get a COVID test. She wasn't feeling well, so they called me. My massage was at 9. I was getting off on the exit to get there at 8:50, and they called me and they're like,
This morning?
Hey, this is last week.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, your therapist has to go get a COVID test. She's not feeling well. She's leaving for the day." And I was like, "Okay, I understand." And they kind of had the same reaction as Bill, where they were like, "Oh, well, thank you." So I was like, "Hey, man, everybody's getting it right now. No worries. If you could just reschedule me, like that'd be cool, And they're like, "Okay, well, we can offer you this. And they were being very, because I'm sure they've been canceling left and right. And
is there any chance that the receptionist can put hot stones down my spine if I come in right now?
Immediately.
Is she notarized
A
to do
massage
that?
chair anywhere?
Is she a massage notary?
Yes. Yeah. Put that stamp right on my sciatic.
Yeah.
All right.
Catch more flies with honey than vinegar, Alan. Did you know it?
Let me write this down.
Write it down. That's
Why
one
do you
for the
want to
books.
catch flies?
To keep them out of your kitchen.
You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar?
You've never heard that saying.
I have. I just don't know why anybody's trying to catch flies.
I think it's like a preventative measure, so they're not all around your house. If you set honey traps, you're going to catch more flies than if you set vinegar
Why don't
traps.
I try to figure out the cause rather than dealing short term with a symptom? Why do I have so many flies in my house?
I don't know your life, but if you have flies,
I don't want your life.
vinegar. Going back to the not even liberal or Republican thing. Went to dinner with a couple of friends last night, and one of them they're all pretty liberal. One of them's super woke. She's very feminist. She's
That's really annoying too. FYI.
God. Well, so here's why I got annoyed.
That'll make you feel like another member of your family.
Yes.
Like they're talking to you.
That's how I felt, where I was like,
Yeah.
am I right? The 4 of us went to high school together. We've known each other for 20 years, okay? And then one of our high school friends brought her wife. So 4 of us went to high school together. One did not. Telling a story about a guy I went to high school with who messaged me on Facebook and asked if he could write for me, if I would hire him to be my writer in comedy. This person has
write jokes.
no writing experience. He's never done anything
Or comedy
creative.
experience.
He's never done anything
I don't even know if
creative
he's
in his life.
funny.
Right.
Well,
But
he's
he
a guy, so
he says he has all these grand ideas and he has a unique perspective and he can
Write
really
for himself.
He can take my career to the next level because he feels like he needs to write for a woman.
Sure.
Whatever.
He just wants you to pay him more than you would get paid.
Right. So I'm joking with my high school friends about this, and the one who did not go to high school with us goes, "Is this a straight white male? This sounds like a straight white male."
Is this a cis straight white male?
And I said, "No, it's a crazy black dude." And then my friend next to me, she goes, "You can't say that." And I was like, "What?" And she got like really upset. She's like, "Your voice is so loud. You can't say crazy and black in the same sentence. You're racist." I said, "It's not racist that he's an insane person who happens to be black. Like, it's not anything like." She's like, "Stop. You're being so..." She was like getting embarrassed that I said that this dude was, because I was like, she asked me if he was white, and I said, said, no, he's a crazy black guy.
Yeah.
And her face like got all flushed, and she was like looking around, and I was like,
now you're a crazy red person right in front of me.
But our friend who didn't,
Big douche energy off this chick.
the one who didn't go to high school with us, she looks at her, she goes, you're kind of racist for assuming black people can't be crazy.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
It just was like she was trying to flip it like, okay, now you're going a step too far. Where it's just like, no, that's
What
not
a fun killer right there.
Right, that's not what it is at all. So we were texting later that night, and our friend was like, oh, I'm going to get Mexican food tomorrow. And I was like, you can't say Mexican food. That's racist. Stop.
It's authentic.
Right.
It's so racist. Okay, I'm going to have Static X tickets for you. These guys are going back out on the road. I think they got Trip or Edsel Dope, somebody fronting for Wayne Static. Rise of the Machine Tour. They moved it. It's now Saturday, March 26th.